My name's Rebecca Cohen, and this is my video presentation for Mod 5 in Planning for Instruction. I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple of the technologies I've decided to use for my 7th through 12th grade kids for this whole distance learning journey we're all having to go through as Kansas educators. So we already use Google Sites for like artist portfolios. This is a super easy way for me to see their finished work online, and I don't have to be in the classroom to grade it at all. This is also what I use to get kids to think critically and really dive into their artwork about why they create something, what their goal is with it, etc. It's like a journaling experience that I can like peek inside their head with, like a work in progress. And really I almost chose to do the video over that, but I wanted to cover something that I found that has really helped my ability as an art teacher to teach online to kids that don't have supplies necessarily. So the biggest thing in my class is when I have students that are not naturally gifted with art, I use a system called Gridwork to help students learn how to draw and visualize angles and curves in their project. So the only issue with that though is I can't send home grids for them to work on. I can't send home my scanner and printer for them to print and then scan their images onto. So I started to research different ways that I could help students still have access to the grid without having to print off. So I have covered this in the following section. All right, I'm going to cover how to put your image on a grid for those of you that prefer the grid drawing method. I don't have grid paper to send home with you. You're welcome to print out your own if you can, but if you do not have access to a printer, you can do the enlarging grid, which I'll cover the worksheet in another video so you can follow along with that on how to make your own grid lines in your sketchbook. And then we're also going to cover a couple softwares that you can use to put your reference image on a grid without having to scan or print. So we'll go ahead and open up a new tab in Google Chrome. And the website is called griddrawingtool.com by Art Tutor. Okay, you can watch their tutorial if you want to, but all you got to do is we'll click on step 1, choose our file. So we're going to pick our image, and I'll use my logo. Okay, it's uploaded, nice and clear. Click next. We don't need to rotate it. If you need to, you could click rotate, but we're good. Step 3, crop. Again, I don't need a crop. If you need it to crop, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your cursor, and when you hover over your image, it turns into a plus sign. You're gonna click, hold down, and drag. The highlighted area is what you are cropping, okay? So if I just keep my image at like this, you'll click crop image, and then it's going to crop to your highlighted section. If you messed up, you just click reset, you're good to go. So next. You can mess with your saturation and contrast, all this stuff if you want to. Again, you just click reset. Most important step is our grid. So it automatically puts like a 5-dimension grid on here. I like to work with smaller grids because the more boxes you have, the more reference points you have, therefore the easier it is to draw your image in small sections. So I like to work with 10. You'll click apply grid to see how it looks. This is what I feel most comfortable working with. Again, I really don't prefer you go any less than an 8-dimension. Up to you. You can change your grid color if you want, but that's all you got to do. You click download, and then there you go. Okay guys, the next option that I have available to you guys is an app called Art Tools. I have an iPhone. I assume that Android has this as well, but if it doesn't, I mean, I guess you should have gotten a real phone, right? Kidding, sort of. All right, so you're gonna go click on your app store, type in Art Tools, it's gonna pop up, it's the red A, download it. This little plus icon down here, ooh, right here, that's where you add your photo. But so anyway, I used my logo again. You click on grid, grid type, and there's all different kinds. I think I was just messing around with them. I did something to the custom grid, I messed it up. But you can mess around with it too and make it actually work for you. So we'll just finish watching this. Once I decide which grid I wanted. You can also go into grid color and change the color of it. You can also change like the thickness as well as transparency. So that would be how you can use your phone to work with the grid. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Shoot me an email, call me, whatever you need to do. Do not call me at 3 in the morning if you wake up my kids. We're gonna have a problem. So that's the video that I used for my Google Classrooms that I have just freshly set up. We don't actually start teaching until next Monday, and my classes are actually going to meet on Tuesdays and on Thursdays. And but we're not even really going to meet every single Tuesday and Thursday, but it's just for me to be able to touch base with them. We're going to be using Zoom, like what we do with TTT. That's been a major lifesaver communication-wise because my faculty, they're handling things great, but at first it was a fun and pleasant experience. That's sarcasm. But, so it's been super handy having Zoom. I'm going to incorporate that into my classroom, but these tools are going to help my kids be able to draw, and then I'm also providing demos to help walk them through everything without them needing to call me every time they have an issue. I'm hoping that these demonstrations will help them. So that's the bonus of using video technology with this whole distance learning thing is I have demos they can watch, they can repeat it as often as they need to, and then if the demos still aren't fully clarifying things, they're welcome to email me, Zoom me, call me, whatever. I can't quite reflect how technology has impacted student learning in my class as far as like these two apps are going to go. I actually got to use them twice with my 7th and 8th graders and seemed to be pretty easy for them to catch on to. We didn't have to go travel to the library to scan anymore, so that was really nice. It really cut down on wasted class time for me. But in the long run, I really think that it's going to help my kids be able to relax a little more, and so instead of watching me do a demo in person, instead of having to ask me to repeat myself, they can just back up and rewatch the video. So when we get back into regular life and things aren't so crazy, I'm hoping that I can still use these video demos in the classroom. But yeah, that's my reflection.